Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, as you guys can probably see from the title, I'm going to be going over how I currently make about 45 bill per week. Now, I do want to note right now from the start is that this number is slightly inflated due to the new piggy banks that were added into the game, but since they will be with us from now until I think another 4 months, I did want to include them into these totals since they will be pretty relevant from the time going forward. I also do want to note that this number can change week to week depending on how much I farm, so understand that the numbers that I am saying right now can change. They can either be higher or they can be lower. It just depends on the amount of time that I have per week, but for the most part, these numbers that I will be giving to you are going to be around pretty much the average for every single week. Getting into the first way that I make my money every single week, we're going to be starting with Ursus. So this comes out to about 120 mil daily and then 840 mil per week. This is something that's like super simple, and no matter where you are or what level you are in the game, you should definitely be doing this every single day. It's super easy money. It only takes about a minute, 2 minutes per day. So if you're not doing it, definitely start doing it now, and understand that depending on what level you are, it scales more and more and more. So for me, being level 280, I do make about 40 mil every single run, and that comes out to about 120 mil daily and 840 mil weekly. Going on to the next method is probably one of the most well-known is bossy mules. Guys, you know how good bossy mules are, but just to give you guys like a little bit more of an explanation or a little bit more detail about how many bossy mules I have and what I do every single week, I want to break those numbers down for you. So I have about 9 boss mules currently, and they all do up to N Lomian, and that comes out to about 1.3 bill per boss mule, and then multiplied by 9, that comes out to about 11.7 to 12 bill per week. One of those boss mules is an E-Lucid and N-Slime boss mule, and I do plan to add more and more of those as I move further on in the game. But for right now, we just have 9 bossy mules plus my main who solos all of C10, and that number comes out to about 16 bill weekly. Obviously, depending on where you are in the game, that number might not be feasible for you just yet, but understand that making any type of bossy mule, whether it be just an E-Cygnus or either like super easy bossing mules, they add up every single week per week. So if you can squeeze out like C-Ray or E-Cygnus or whatever it may be, or C-Zoc bossy mules, definitely try and pump out more and more and more of those every single week. Understand too that most of my bossy mules I funded pretty much for free, and I just use bossing cubes from all of my other mules to fund each and every mule. So the more and more that you get, the more accumulative the cubes in your resources become, so it makes it that much easier every single time you create a new bossy mule. So probably the most controversial method currently right now is farming. And I did want to include that in this list because I do farm pretty regularly. I do try to farm about 1 WAP per day. Now, sometimes that might be less, sometimes that might be more, but for the most part, I could probably use an average of 1 WAP per day. And then about like 2.5 WAPs per day on the weekend. I may farm a little bit more, and that number comes out to about 12 bill weekly. When I farm on my Shadower, and I farm at LH6, and without any Legion and just using a WAP, I can get up to about 575 to 600 mil per hour, which would come out to about 1.2 bill per WAP. But with Legion and WAP, I am able to make 700 mil an hour here at LH6 pretty easily now with the new summon that we have. It actually makes farming a lot easier, but know that you can make 700 mil an hour. And here is the screenshot of my rates right now, and I'm also going to show you guys the rotation for what I do at LH6. Super simple, super chill. Like honestly, you can throw something in the background. You can even go on Twitch and like talk with people on Twitch. It's super simple to do this rotation. But yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out and clears out a lot of questions people had. I know Joe had made a video before in the past with the totem removal, and people said, oh, that's cap, you can't make 700 mil an hour with no totem, blah blah blah. Well, here's the proof for it. You guys do what you want with it, but it is possible. Moving on from farming, the most broken thing to ever come to the game, piggy banks. So I have 2 piggy banks on 2 separate characters, so I pretty much make 2 bill daily. This is relevant for the next 4 months. So I am including this in my running total for like my week to week breakdown, even though this is like event exclusive. And for somebody who may be watching this video 5 months down the line, no, hopefully they are not in the game anymore, because these are definitely probably some of the most broken item, or this is the most broken item to ever come to the game, but of course I'm going to use it and take advantage of it as well. But I did want to include it in the list because it is very, very relevant, and it's not something that's just in the game for like 2 weeks or even like a month, so I thought it was important to include. Now that I've kind of gone through all of my methods with you guys and broken down how much I make from each of these methods, I did want to go over a recap and kind of break down everything in which way, or in which methods I think that you guys should do, or which ones are most feasible. So obviously Ursus being number one, it's the easiest, it's something that everybody should do, everybody can do it, you don't need any funding for it, so without a doubt 100% you should always be doing your Ursus. Obviously if you can get a piggy bank, get a piggy bank. I usually don't try to push pay to win things, but this is definitely the most broken thing that's ever come to the game. I'm going to put this at number 2. Get your piggy bank, spend a little bit of money. It's gonna save you a lot of time, which is going to translate into IRL money. Time equals money, so if you can save yourself some time in the game farming, do so and get the piggy bank. Moving on to bossy mules and farming, which one do I think is best for you? I don't always like to recommend a lot of people to be making shadower farmers, only because I don't think it's the right point in the game for people to be doing it. I think once you've reached 275 and you're happy with where your main is and you don't have proper familiars, then I think it's good to make a shadower farmer. I don't think it makes its money back as easy as a lot of people think. Bigger benefit is farming familiars, not as much money, because it does take, if you were to put your main training and farming next to your shadower farming mesos and put them on a graph and show the total amount of money that each would make, you would find that it would take a very, very long time for your shadower to actually get ahead and start to beat your main, because again, you have to remember you have to put in like 20 to 30 to 40 bill minimum on your shadower farmer for it to even be feasible as a farmer, and a lot of time as well just training it up to getting it to a map like LH6. So you would realize that training your main is probably for the most part going to be more beneficial for 90% of people, unless you have really bad familiars and you want to potentially, you know, get lucky with familiars, then it would be the better option. But for the most part, I think that 90% of people should be making boss mules right now. And I want to stress that too, because we do have this Shining Star Force event coming up on top of all the Star Force reduction that has happened. I think that you should definitely really consider spending a lot of money on bossy mules right now and trying to Star Force them to at least 16 stars. For the most part, if you can dump like 1,000 or like 500 to 1,000 node and 16 star your bossy mule, it should be fine to do Enlomian and all the other bosses in no longer than 40 minutes. I think for the most part, for most people, bossy mules is going to come in at 3rd. A shadower farmer is going to come in at last. I think your main focus should always be trying to benefit your main, and I think a shadower farmer takes a lot away from that. So for that reason, I'm going to put shadower farmer in the very last out of these 4 options. And as of right now, these are just the 4 main methods that I use on a week-to-week basis for me to make anywhere from 45 bill all the way up honestly to 60 bill, depending if I really want to sweat and farm a lot. But yeah guys, that is going to wrap up the rest of the video for today. If you guys have any other ideas or options that I might have missed in this video that you think should be added, please leave them in the comment section below. I want us all to help each other out the best that we can. So if you have some hidden tech, or you know, just an obvious tech that I missed myself, please leave it down in the comment section below and we can talk about it, we can chat about it. But for now, that is going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.